Okay, here's everything you need to know about the coronavirus, how it's going to help people, not just low income people, but everyone. It's just a lot. It's going to be a kind of a long video, so I do apologize in advance. I'm going to ramble. I'm going to do a lot of stuff because I'm affected, you're affected, we're all affected. Here we go. And I'm also going to say that my voice is very, very weird because I'm just getting over a cold. I do not have corona. There you go. Okay, so here we go. Today is March 13th, 2020. It is just after 6 p.m. I have been waiting for about a day or so to see how this was going to play out in Washington and everything like that, but I'm just not going to wait anymore. Here we go. So, I've said it before, politics and what happens in government affects us. What happens outside of your community, your neighborhood affects us. It all matters. I've said this on the website. I've said this like in talking to people. It all matters. And this is a prime example. Okay, to backtrack, they have shut down pretty much everything, starting from sports when the NBA canceled the season like 2 days ago now. The NBA, NHL suspended the season. The Major League Baseball spring training was suspended. Soccer, TPC, where I'm from, PGA was shut down. Hockey, it's just a lot of different things. As far as sports, the cruises have been shut down. Even Broadway shut the doors, which is really serious because that's New York. That's their cash cow. Universities, colleges, the one that I go to has shut down to where they're doing online classes now. They're sending kids home, not kids, but, college students home early and extending the spring break for them, which is really, something that we should be thinking about because that's going to affect us as well. Those students, some of them live on campus, so they're not going to be able to be on campus because of the virus. Some of them work on campus. A lot of them work on campus, which trickles down to they're not going to have jobs because there's not going to be students, or they're not going to have pay. So it's just a lot of things that go from one thing to another thing, and it slowly becomes one big thing. Some of those people that are on campus have paid to live there. And if that housing is shut down, what are they going to do? Do they get reimbursed? It's a lot of other things that go along with that. There are other situations to where if there's a professor and they're not working and now they don't have the money to pay for daycare if they have a child. It's a lot of other things that I'm rambling right now, but it's a lot of things processing in my head of what could happen and what is happening. With all these things happening, the government, 45, whatever you guys want to call him, has been kind of not, at first he said it was not real, and then he said it was, just a lot of different things. And I've been watching the news and watching his press conferences, and it's just not, I don't feel okay with it. Here's why. The Democrats and other people have been trying to push this bill, and the bill is called Family First. It's called Family First Response Act. It is supposed to help with a lot of these things that I was just speaking of, the trickle-down effect, how we deal with it, how we make people better, how we deal with what happens when they shut the schools down or when they, can't go to their jobs and things like that. So they, and I'm saying they as in Republicans and 45, have been postponing and not agreeing and just a lot of different things. So that's why I kind of paused and didn't want to do a video about it until things were actually settled. This, again, today is Friday. This was supposed to be done yesterday. As of me doing this video, I have not heard an update, so I'm just going to do the video, and then if I get an update before the end of this, then I'll update it. Some of the things that the Family First Response Act are going to cover would be, and I'm saying going to because I know that it's going to work, would be to provide paid sick leave. And that's for people that are diagnosed with the virus. That's for people that have family members that are diagnosed and therefore they can't work. There's a lot of different things that it could kind of cover, but it's going to be paid sick leave. As of yesterday, the Senate blocked an emergency paid sick leave. So that wasn't going, but they're going to put that in the actual Family First Response Act. I'm still getting used to saying the name. The Family First Response Act, to have that become one of the things. I can't talk. I apologize, guys. There's a lot of things in my head. They also want to establish free testing for the virus, which would include going to the site, not having to do any copays and things like that, which is a beautiful thing. They really, really need it. I don't see why anybody would oppose something like that. The bill also would support strong unemployment benefits. Basically, if for some reason you could not work, you would still have your insurance, you would still have other things, and it would kind of, I'm trying not to speak too much on the actual wording of it because I don't have it in front of me, but the gist of it is you would be covered. The act would protect frontline health workers, so people, the nurses and doctors and, people that are giving the tests and that are, seeing about them and making sure everything's okay. It would protect them. Another thing that would happen is it would make all health plans, even the government ones like Medicaid and Medicare, they will be fully covered for the corona testing. So basically, if you don't have the Blue Cross and Blue Shield or the United Healthcare, whatever the other top names would be, you would still be able to get tested if you have Medicare or Medicaid or any of your other government healthcare programs. And to backtrack, I'm sorry, I forgot to mention that the unemployment insurance would protect the furloughed workers because, again, we aren't, like a lot of people think, we have jobs. We have, we go to work. A lot of people have 2 and 3 jobs. I have 2. So, I mean, we aren't just sitting there in our houses, not doing anything. So this part of this act would protect the workers that can't go to work, and it would help them as well. Also, one of the more important ones that I think that is kind of hitting home, this act would end stipulations that require able-bodied childless adults to work in order to get food stamps. So basically, there are people, it's out there now to where, I'm not sure if you know it, but if you don't, if you're receiving stamps, you have to have a child or have some type of, reason to why you need these stamps as far as a disability, something like that. I'm pretty sure I'm rambling, and I do apologize, guys, but there's a lot of people that don't know this, so I want to give this information to the ones that don't know, and that way they can kind of get caught up. So anyhow, 45 has been trying to push it to where all those people that are childless have to go out and have a job. There are situations to where you cannot do that. And there are times when people do abuse the system, and I'm not going to say that it doesn't happen, but there are situations where people can't do that, whether you have a child or not. I mean, you could have like a disability. You could be caring for an elder parent. It's a lot of different situations, and 45 has been trying to push it. And if I'm not mistaken, it's supposed to happen not this month, April, to where they make that into a law, and it would be well over 700,000 people kicked out of the system if they do not have a job. A lot of people aren't able to do that. I know for a fact firsthand, a lot of people can't do that. There are people that have, children that are school age, and because of the school hours and the job that they can find, they can't work within that time. And so they're not able to work the hours or anything like that. So there's a lot of different things. I'm just talking off the top of my head, but that's what they were trying to get done. This act would pause that, or actually stop that, but it would pause it for the time being to where that wasn't a requirement. Especially when you have the situation like we have now with the coronavirus, where some of the jobs are going to shut down. We know this for a fact, like the NBA and things like that. And of course, it's not a good example because they're millionaires, but I mean, like, there are people that work in the arenas. There are people that, work behind the scenes for the NBA, and they won't have a job because of this. So that's going to trickle down again to not being able to work, to not having daycare, it's a lot of things that go right back to step one of why people need assistance. Another thing that it would address would be the WIC program would get $500 million cash surge to help parents with young children who lose their jobs or get laid off because of the virus. again, that just refers right back to what I just said. A lot of this stuff is kind of like a butterfly effect. Like when this happens and this happens and this happens, I say this in my day-to-day life. I say this, in my office job. I say this, when I'm doing my volunteer work or my charity work. This all matters. Like you don't think it does. And a lot of people don't get out and vote because they don't think it matters. And it all matters. And I don't want to make this a political thing, but like just know it matters. Another thing that it would affect or help out with, the Emergency Food Assistance Program, which is called TEFAP, will get $400 million to increase the local food banks in getting food and increasing storage capacity for that food. Just like I just said, a lot of people aren't going to have a job. Or a lot of people are either will still have a job, but they may not be able to go to work for these 2 weeks or 3 weeks or whatever it would be. They are going to be at a loss simply because that income isn't coming in. Even if they have money set to the side, even if they have, some SNAP benefits left, whatever it is, depending on how long this lasts, and I'm just going to go ahead and say it's going to go until April, probably until May. Depending on how long that lasts, food banks are going to be vital. This bill will help give food to those food banks or help them purchase food and increase their capacity so that they can have more space for the on-site, because it's going to be a lot of people. Even the ones that do a 9 to 5 and that have their stuff to where they're not, let me word this correctly, they're not getting food assistance or the welfare benefits or anything like that. Even those people are going to need assistance. I'm just going to put that out there. You may not believe me. It may not come to fruition, but I believe that's going to be the situation. I was literally in Walmart, and I'm probably showing you the video now because I don't want to get on camera, but, in Walmart, these people are crazy. And I'm saying that with all the love I can. They're buying up everything. And the weirdest thing is it's a toilet paper, and it's just stuff that I don't even think it doesn't even make sense. But if they're doing that because, of what they're hearing on TV and what they're, seeing and just nerves, it's going to get a little bit worse before it gets better. And that's why I say a lot of people are going to need help. Even the ones that don't receive help now are going to need help. Another thing that the act would help would be seniors who receive assistance. The seniors would get access to the senior nutrition program with an injection of $250 million to the ACL, which is the Administration for Community Living, to provide 25 million additional home delivered meals to low income seniors. For instance, that would be something like Meals on Wheels. I personally know people that receive Meals on Wheels. This would help a lot. Literally, because seniors are the most affected right now, it makes sense to do these things. Like it baffles me that this isn't something that someone that runs our country would automatically say, you know what, this is what we need to do. It's weird to me that you would not even think of how the American people are living. The rich, the poor, the middle class, the low income, whatever they are, this affects everyone. The virus doesn't have, you only make $30,000 a year, so we're going to get you, or you make $150,000 a year, so we're going to get you. It's not like that. It affects people. That's just the way it is. People are people. I've said it before. People are people. And regardless of anything, this all matters. Older people, children, just everybody would be affected by this or is affected by this, even though it's not affecting younger people right now. Something happens. It would basically, provide another stipulation. I'm trying to think of how it was worded, because I don't have my notes. I have my notes in front of me. They're like a million notes. I've been getting emails and calls and text messages with all this information so that I can tell you guys this, and so that I can make the video, and just a lot of different things. And you have no idea how many notes that I have scattered around in my vehicle, in front of my laptop. It's ridiculous. But I'm trying to remember everything so that I can give you guys this information. So hold on just a minute. Let me get my thoughts together. One of the more important things that the act would allow would be waivers for making school lunches available to students who are not in school because of school closings. As of right now, there are dozens and dozens of schools that are closed because of this. Where I am, that literally just happened. I just got word that it just happened in my county, well, actually in all of Florida, because he just did the state address about what's going on. That just happened. They just closed all the schools in Florida. So this is very, very real. I apologize. I'm just processing everything that I just heard. So this is very, very real. What it would allow would be the children who do not have access to food. And I can't stress this enough. I probably said this before in this video. I just can't even remember because of a lot of things. But I can't stress enough how real it is out there. A lot of you just receive assistance, maybe $100 and maybe whatever, but a lot of people receive more than that because of their situation. There are people that have, a 2-parent home that, work 2 jobs and are still not able to do what they need to do for the 2 or 3 children that they have because of the, pay that they get in that job. So it's just a lot of factors that go into it, and a lot of children. I had talked to this lady at my office. What is today? Today is Friday. I think I talked to her Wednesday, just in a general conversation, and she was mentioning back in her hometown that children there do not have access to the internet because of just where they are. It's a rural town. They do not have access to the internet, and they do not have access to food when they are not in school. Some of them don't even have running water because of the area that they're in. She was saying that because she's a restaurant owner, a business owner, she's able to provide those things for her family, but a lot of people aren't. And it's not even it's not a race thing because she's a different color than I am. It's not a status thing, anything because she's a business owner, she can do it and other people can't. It's the area she lives in is the particular reason I'm talking about. The area she lives in just doesn't have Wi-Fi available. Like where I am, I have access to these things. There's hot spots. There are, there's a Walmart there, you can get free Wi-Fi there. There's a lot of different things, and I'm probably rambling. I do apologize. There's a lot of different things, a lot of different factors go into people's day-to-day lives that other people will never understand. And that is why I fight so hard for people that are not able to fight for themselves. And again, I apologize that I'm rambling, but I just had to get that off my chest. But the main reason I was saying that is because this act would provide food assistance for the children that are not in school. So basically, let me break this down to you. Where I live in Florida, before my child and even my niece and nephews sign up for school, the week before, if I'm not mistaken, there was a letter that was sent saying that the schools qualified for free lunch, so that no kid in the school would have to pay for lunch. It's just the school it was an automatic thing, which is a beautiful thing because I don't have to pay for lunch. Lunch, I think, is like $1.50 each or something like that. So that's a beautiful thing, and I have no issue with that. And it's not just like I'm in a bad area or anything. It's just Florida, I guess. I don't know. But so that's a good thing. But the reason I'm saying that is because there are a lot of children, there are a lot of families that are not able to make ends meet, like the woman I was just telling you about, that I spoke to at my office. There are a lot of situations like that, and I am a very, I'm a very, I guess industrious area. It's not like a rural area. It's not. We don't have dirt roads. It just happens to be. This is one of the things that the schools in this city qualified for, and so no kid had to pay for lunch, which is a beautiful thing. At the same time, if that wasn't available, there would be children that would go hungry. Literally, I could see some of the children just in my day-to-day knowing this child does not get enough. And in this situation, this particular situation, it was the reason I brought it up, those children, and probably some that I don't even know about, are not going to have access to food. This is why I'm so excited for this to pass. These children would be sitting at home, and especially with a situation to where the parents had to work, 10 hours a day, just to pay the bills, and they were getting SNAP assistance, and it wasn't covering everything, because as we all know, SNAP assistance doesn't cover everything. If you are working, which is another thing that I'm not going to go on this whole rant, but if you are working and, you're making a certain amount of money and you have 2 children or 1 child, you're like, okay, you have enough money to pay. We're only going to give you $100 a month or $300, whatever it is. That's not enough. We all know that. And again, I apologize for talking about this because it's not what this is about, but this just all refers back to, the reason that these things should be in place to begin with. There should not have been a hesitation. But again, let me pause and go back to my point. The waivers would make it available when the schools are shut down, because I just found out that our schools are shut down here. If this is passed, the children can still get a lunch, and I think it's a breakfast as well, because I know at the schools that are in this county, they get a breakfast when they go to school and they get a lunch. So I'm assuming that the breakfast would be included as well. One thing that would happen, because this is a situation to where it is a virus, and usually original things before that would cover the kids going to school, like in the free lunch, not the free lunch program, the summer lunch program, to where they would go to the schools or whatever designated area. That would not be the situation, because this is different. This is passed through touching and things like that. So there would be a stipulation for people to get it some other kind of way. I don't know what that way would be, so don't quote me on that, but that's part of what they're trying to do. And if I ever do find out what it's going to be, I will update you guys on Instagram, probably my Instagram story and Facebook story, and then actually the Facebook page. And of course, YouTube, if it's something really, really big, then I'll just make an actual video about it. But that's one of the things that makes this, like, these are necessary things. This is not a Democrat thing. This is not a low income thing. This is not, those Republicans did this. This is everyone. And that's what's important to me. As of the time I checked this information last night before I went to sleep, Washington, Maryland, Utah, I think it was Pennsylvania, Wyoming, California, Kansas, and I think another one were the only ones that had said that they wanted to have that waiver. All states have to do is say, yes, we want to do that, and that would be available to them. And that's just a process that they have to do. That's nothing to do with us. But that's what's going on with that. The waivers aren't enough. That's just plain and simple. I'm trying to calm myself down, because this is like so real. Like, it's not even like, kind of like what, like, I live in a state where hurricanes are every year, and so we deal with, the disaster relief SNAP, the to where you can get the extra surge of stamps if you have stamps, or if you don't have stamps, you are able to get those things. And I think I have videos on that. I do have videos on that on YouTube. But this is not that. This is everyone. This is not something that's going to be, okay, this happened and you guys will get this assistance because you're in this certain area. This is the U.S. and of course other places too, but this is the U.S. that I'm talking about right now. So it's not just a Florida thing or a Carolina thing or anything like that. One of the big things that's going to help in the act is going to be the influx of money to the SNAP program. Getting food assistance to people is going to be vital. There are people, like, let's just say at my office, they have been contemplating going remote for whatever weeks or month or whatever, that we are not able to actually go into the office. A lot of people have that ability now. I know a lot of companies that offer work from home for different things. That's not available in other places. For as if you work in retail, let's say you work in Walmart, you're not able to be a cashier in Walmart remotely. That makes no sense. If you are like a lot of people and you work in a restaurant, you're not able to cook. You're not able to be a cook. You're not able to be a waiter. A lot of people rely on tips. I mean, it's just a lot of different things that go into this. This will help those people who have lost that money for this reason. I do not know the specifics of it. I have done some research, but I haven't come up with specifics of exactly what they're going to do for the food stamp program. But once I do, I will more than likely make a video for it. And that way you can get like the details of it. Hopefully it won't be as long as I'm making this, and I do apologize. But it's just a lot of things that are happening as I'm speaking. I'm getting emails as I'm speaking. I'm getting texts, and so I do apologize for that. And then the fact that they shut the schools down. So now I have the process of how I'm going to do the next 2 weeks. So it's just a lot of things. So again, I apologize. I am rambling, but that is just what I do. As I paused, I was able to find out that they did reach an agreement. And the details aren't hashed out yet, but as of today, what is the time right now? 8:16, they have reached an agreement. Pelosi posted about it and put out a thing as far as what they agreed on. Some of the numbers weren't what they wanted to be, but they are there. So that's mainly what I wanted to see, that these things were important to people other than people like myself, or people that are low income, or people that, are struggling and they're not low income. They're still struggling day to day to budget and things like that. And then also the people that have the money that are going to lose income because they're not going to work, even with the help with the unemployment insurance and the paid sick leave and all that stuff. There are other factors that go along with it. And I'm pretty sure I've said this like 17 times in this video so far, so I do apologize. But I mean, it's the truth. It is what it is. So they have worked out a deal. The specifics aren't there yet. I think they're going to have it all out on Monday, if I'm not mistaken. I'm trying to pull my laptop back up again, but I think on Monday they'll have hash out like the details. I think it goes to Senate, and then from that point is when it'll become actually what it is. And guys, I have been saying it wrong. I totally forgot the actual other name in it. It's called Family First Coronavirus Response Act. I totally took out coronavirus and just made it my own little name. I do apologize, but that is the actual name of it. But that's what they're going to send to Senate. And from that point, it'll go from there. I know this was a very long-winded video. You've never seen a video like this from me, and I do, apologize that it's this much, but it's a lot of information. There's a lot of people out there that are worried and just want information and just want to know how they're going to get assistance and things like that. So I'm going to do, again, another video once they get the full details hashed out. I will post on my Facebook, my Instagram, and what else am I on? I'm on Twitter as well. So guys, follow there. I will put the links in the description if you don't already have it. And I just thank you for listening, because there's a lot of stuff going on. And if you are scared, if you are in some type of situation to where it's just you in your house or whatever and you don't know what to do, I'm here. I got you. Talk to me in the comments, DM me, whatever you need to do. I understand. Like it's going to be okay. This is just not for those people. It's for everyone. It's going to be okay. We're going to get through this. Life is going to go on. It may be a little bit different, but it's going to be okay. You guys are awesome. You are amazing. And just keep going, guys.